Morning guys, right behind me here, got a Landrover Defender 90 and it was recovered in here. It's been boiled and it's blown a core plug out of the engine block. So we need to get it stripped down, see what's damaged, and we can get it repaired. Right then, so that's the Land Rover there, Land Rover Defender. It's got a 300 TDI engine in it, which is probably one of the best engines that they built, because everything after the TD5 was horrendous. So yeah, let's get the bonnet up and we'll get a look at it. Okay, so there we have it. That's a Land Rover 300 TDI, and yeah, the engine block looks painted, so it looks like it's probably had an engine at some point. Oh yeah, you can see the telltale marks on the head bolts where someone's torqued them. So it's been apart at some point, we know that. And that core plug through there, you see it? See that core plug out the engine in the cylinder block? That is blown out. So that's no good. Yeah, the customer says he was going down the motorway down south, and it started overheating, so, and then it stopped. So I'll try starting it, but I don't think it does start. So what's happened, I would say, is that either the core plugs dropped out, which is very unlikely because they don't just drop out, and he's lost all his coolant, or something like the head gasket's blown and you've got cylinder pressure got into the water jacket of the engine, and that's physically blown the core plug out, which is more likely. And then he's lost all his coolant, obviously, and then he's boiled it. So I think I'll go with the head gasket option, where it's putting cylinder pressure into the cooling jacket and it's blown that core plug out. So yep, I think the first job is we'll just give it a turn over, see what it sounds like. If it doesn't start, we'll take the cylinder head off. Right, first job, we'll get rid of this bonnet out the way. Right, that lets us get in a bit better. That's the bonnet off. So you can see that's what a core plug should look like for anyone that doesn't know much about vehicles. And then if you move along to the other side of the block there, you can see that one there is missing. It's been blown out. Right, let's try starting it and see what it sounds like. Give it some heaters. Oh, let's try, eh? Ooh. Yeah, we've got that cylinder pressure. Right, we'll turn that off. Yeah, it's got cylinder pressure there into the cylinder block. Doesn't sound very good, does it? It's not very smooth. It's not a smooth runner. So yeah, that's running like a bag of shite, isn't it? So yeah, you can see the exhaust gases there into the engine block. So I'd say what's happened is the head gasket has popped or blown, and it's pressurized the block and blown that core plug out. So I think the first thing we'll do is get the cylinder head off, guys. Right, so the first job, I'm going to disconnect the hoses, the coolant hose, the intake hose, and we'll remove the manifolds from the cylinder head, which will be the inlet and the exhaust, and then we'll get everything off on this side, everything off on the other side, then we'll get the rocker cover off and we'll crack away all those head bolts. Okay, so that's the hoses off and the intake. So we'll get the 15mm socket on and we'll undo these manifolds. Right, so I'm just busy undoing these ones. Right, so that's the last bolt out of here. And we can get rid of this coolant tube there now. I've got a nice cardboard box, we'll put everything in a nice neat box. Right. It's the last bolt out of there. And that's the inlet manifold removed. So the next few bolts are these two top ones, bottom one there, and then we can drop the whole turbo manifold back, and then that'll let us lift the head off. Okay, so that's all the manifold bolts undone. So as you can see there, we can now pull that back off the studs and then it'll let us get the head off. Okay, so I've pulled the manifold back there, and that's the gasket removed. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to undo those studs there now, because I'll be getting it pressure tested and possibly skimmed, and they'll need them out. So I'll just quickly wind them out, and then it'll save the manifold pushing back and dropping back on those studs. So that's the 3 manifold studs out. So it doesn't matter if that spring's back there now, because it can't go over the studs. These 2 here, doesn't matter, because they hold the inlet manifold. So right, we'll go around the other side there now, and we'll get rid of the injector pipes and the heater plugs. Okay, so we're around the other side of the engine. You can see the manifold's disconnected there. So we're around the other side there now. So what we need to do is disconnect the hoses from the thermostat housing, the temperature gauge wiring, the wire off the back of the head there that goes to the glow plugs. Then we can undo the injector pipes, and I think that's pretty much it there. Yeah. Then once they're off, we can then, I think that bracket might be bolted to it, this here. If not, then we need to undo this pipe, this breather pipe here, then we can get the rocker cover off. So I've undone the 2 bands here that hold the air filter on. So I'm just going to take this trunking off the back. I've undone the clip. They're quite tight though, that's it. There we go. And there's the air filter box removed. That lets us get in a bit easier to this back glow plug wire that needs to be disconnected. So these are really small 7mm nuts, these. So you got to be sure you don't drop them, because if you drop them on the floor, you tend not to be able to find them. So yeah, that's it. Disconnected there. So I always just put the nut back on, keep it safe. If I put that in my bit box, I'll probably never find it again. Yep, so there's the nut back on, and that there is the glow plug wire disconnected. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the bolt out of here, which will disconnect this breather from the head. I'm going to disconnect all of the banjo bolts off the injectors for the return pipe, and then I'll remove the breather pipe from the rocker cover, and then the injector pipes. So that's them all undone. Just that last one there. And there we go, that's the returns disconnected. Look at the head on that. Look at the state of the head on that there. Someone's absolutely mullered that. I can't get that out, so I've undone the hose off this end, the hose off the bottom, and then when the head's off, I'll just put a slot in that with the angle grinder and hopefully get that off with a big flat-headed screwdriver. If not, I'll just have to chop it and put a new bolt in. Right, next job, injectors. Undo the injector pipes. Okay, so the injector pipes come off in bunches of 2. So that's the 2 back ones off, and then we'll get the 2 front ones off there now. Right, that's the injector pipes all removed. So the next job there now is to undo the 3 rocker cover bolts or nuts. All right then, so that's the breather tube disconnected. So what I'm going to undo now is the 3 rocker cover bolts. 2 off. Last one. And there we go. That's them off. So I'll get the rocker cover off there now. I'll have to give that a tap. Okay, so just gently with a hammer. There we go. Just give that a tap. And there's the rocker cover removed. Next job is to undo the rocker shaft, and then we can get the head bolts out. So to remove the rocker shaft, we need to undo the top mounting bolts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounting bolts. Then when we lift that rocker shaft out, we need to be very careful because under the rocker and sitting on top of each valve is a cap, and those caps might stick to the rocker arm, and you don't want to drop it into the head, or you don't want to drop it on the ground and lose it. So when the rocker shaft's out, you need to retrieve all of the caps off the top of every valve. Right, so this is the last bolt there now. Tell you what, I don't need that extension on. Put that directly on there. See the rocker shaft starting to ease up on the springs there, off the valves. Now I can put that extension on and just wind that bolt out there now. A bit tight for my fingers. Right, so what I was going to say, right, when I lift the rocker shaft out, when I lift the rocker shaft out, the rocker arms are going to want to try and pop off the ends because there's nothing holding them. So when the rocker shaft's off, I'll just put a screwdriver through either end to simulate this bolt, and then you won't have everything sliding off one end of the rocker shaft. So that's the rocker shaft. It's coming out there now. Oh, one of those caps has dropped off. They're the ones I was telling you about, so I'll have to retrieve that with a magnet. So yeah, so when it's off, I'll drop the screwdriver through there and a screwdriver through here. So there you go. You can see I put a screwdriver through there and a screwdriver through there, and that just stops everything slipping off one end of the rocker shaft. But now what I got to do, I get my magnet, and you know those caps I was telling you about? These ones that sit on the top of every valve, or one of them stuck to the one of the rocker arms, like I was telling you they did. So can't get up. Right, so that will be in here somewhere. It'll have dropped into here. There it is. There it is. Drop between the two valves. You gotta make sure you get them out. There it is. See it on the end of my magnet. Right, so take that off. And there it is, you see the little cap. Very easy lost them. So what we need to do now is just take off all these caps. Sometimes, you know, give them a good inspection, because sometimes these caps crack. They kind of crack and collapse, and then when they do that, it alters, or you lose your valve clearance setting. So that's all the caps off there now. Next job, we'll get the push rods out. Okay, so this is the way I do it. A lot of people don't, but I always put the push rods back in the way they came out, and then you know it's back the way it was. So there's 8 push rods. So I've got a piece of cardboard, I'll write front on it. I'll put 8 holes in, and I'll set every one of those push rods in line in the cardboard, so I know what order they came out in. So there we go, that's what it looks like. So we'll start with number 1. Just grab the push rod, just give it a bit of a jangle while you've got the strain on it, so it's separated from the cam follower, because you'll see the ends dome headed, and that gets suction on it and sticks to the follower. So just give it a rattle like that, pull it out, and then we'll stick that through hole number 1. I dropped my phone there. So that's through number 1. So we'll just carry on that process and put them all in the cardboard there. Okay, so that's the push rods all removed. And there we go. That's them set into the cardboard, so we know where they all went. Right guys, next job is to undo all of these head bolts. Okay, so I've got the gun on, 19mm socket. So I'm just going to undo the head bolts. I always just go for the middle and evenly undo them, the same as you would when you put them in. So here we go. Oh, blocking the lens. Sorry. And there's that one out there now. I think I've sprayed oil onto my camera lens, but you get the gist of it. It's hard when you're by yourself. I've got no one to hold a camera for me, or I haven't got a decent tripod or anything, but that one's undone. So what I'll do, I'll just unblast out the rest of them. There we go. All right. That bracket there will have to be undone so it clears the cylinder head. So that's the air filter bracket removed by this little bolt here, and that lets us clear the 2 mounting bolts that were over the top of the cylinder head. Okay, let's see if we can break this cylinder head away there now. All the bolts are out. Should be able to just, that's it. Right. If I jump up on here. Yep, that's the head. That's the cylinder head off. Just wrestle it onto the floor. Okay, so that's the head off. As you can see, don't never sit it down on its surface, because you've got injectors and the glow plugs protruding there, and you'll damage them if you lie it down on them. So there we go. Doesn't look very good around there, does it? And there. I would say that's probably the bother. I think it's blown here. Yeah, I would say that's where the blow is. And it's been getting pressure into that water jacket through here, through that blow. And that's what's, when you look down this side here, that's where the core plug is. So I think that's probably what the bother was. Head gasket's blown here and there. See it? I bet that's blown straight across there, and into that jacket. Okay, so let's get this head gasket lifted off. Pretty well stuck. Just trying to keep it in one piece so I can show the customer where it's blown, but it might be hard. Oh, that's it, we're off. It's good. Yeah, you can see it there, can't you? Let's turn it over. Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's probably where it's been stuck and I've just pulled it off, but you can see it. I think it's been blown there on the back of that one there, and definitely that one there. You can see the gasket's kind of silver around here and then black around there. So yeah, I would say that's been the cause of the bother, guys. Head gasket blown. Right, guys, so I've just been inspecting the block there, and if you get a look at that piston there, it's picked up. It's picked up in the bore. See that? See the scoring around here? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the engine over and get that piston down a bit, and we'll see what the rest of it's like. But as it stands there, that's a knacker job. Let's turn the engine over a bit so we can get that piston down in its bore. Right. Get my torch. Yeah. See the cross hatching on that one? See how that's lovely cross hatch, the honing? And if you look at the side of the bore on that one, it's all scored. Oh yeah, especially around the front there. So I would say, yeah, look at that. I would say what's happened, he's got it so hot that piston's taking a hold in the block, in what would be the liner. So it's scored it. So that's knackered. That's gonna need the engine taken out, sent away, and that's going to need repaired. That's going to need rebored. Right, I've come around the driver's side there. Number 1 cylinder, which is nearest the water pump, so it's not going to get too hot, is the best. Has got a couple of little drag marks on it there though. Number 2, you can see those drag marks on the liner wall there. Number 3 is definitely the worst. That's knackered. Look at that, that's buggered. Number 4's got a couple of drag marks, scores, but yet number 2, I'm even wondering if it's actually split the liner as well, which could be what's pressurized in this jacket also. Can't tell. Could be, but yet either way, I'll take the engine out. Well, and there you go, guys. That's the end of that video for today, part 1. So I'll keep you updated with part 2 and what we're going to do with it. Either it's going to be repaired or we'll put another engine in. We'll see. But yeah, that's no good. Knackered. So as always, I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you again with part 2. Ken's Jobs.